we do something fun?
He has to imagine Jessie sees. She's like, this is not what it is. She should have been here.
I'm just about to say that.
She should have been here.
Jesse's like campaign director. What, she should have been here because now we have a new campaign director who's directing
yeah,
the
she's
campaign.
not here today, but we're just freelancing and just going with the flow. And with the fact that I'm here, it's gonna go wild. So I think the strategy, I like to think 6 months, a year ahead. That's just how my brain is wired. And I'm very much like, that's the end goal. Fine, what do we need to do, detailed, in order for us to get to that goal? So I think that's what I bring, the strategy, the detail, to Thrivers Collective.
So I would say I'm much, is it visionary or visionary?
Creative.
But then that's a visionary as well. So like,
We'll just say
yeah,
both.
I'll say,
creative
yeah,
and vision.
I'm creative visionary. Is that a word? Is that a term?
You just made it up, girl. It's yours. Claim it.
So yeah, I would say I'm very more creative, and I'm very much a visionary as well. But yeah, so that's me.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I think I don't know if I should say risk taker, but I'm more like, okay, you guys can bring the plan, you can bring the strategies, but we gotta get the job done. So I think with me, it's more like, okay, let's do it. Let's just start, and we'll figure out as we go. You know, because I remember like one time when we used to discuss a lot of the plans, and you know, I know, you know, Simone is all about how we're gonna do it, though. Put it on paper, and you know, and you have Natasha, that's usually like the one who wants it in a moon board. Like you gotta find Pinterest pictures and put it together. And I'm the one, I'm like, yeah, we gotta do it. Let's just do it. Like let's just get it done. It's gonna get done anyways. So I think that's just me. I like things to be executed. Like if it's there, then we're gonna figure it out. If we're gonna mess up, that's fine. But at least we're doing it.
I think that's a good word. So you're an executor. Executor. She's a strategist, and I'm the visionary.
And I think that's what complements each other. I think that's the team. That's the whole.
And I think
documents, mood boards. Let's get it done.
Yes, that's it. And it just makes us the Thrivers Collective, because we come as a as a collective, and we thrive in whatever project we have. Honestly, it's been beautiful.
And I think it makes sense, because if we were all the same, then it wouldn't work. I think the fact that we all bring different pieces to it's almost like a puzzle, and we've all got the pieces that make the whole
100%
puzzle complete.
Honestly,
100%.
So my word for 2024 is intentional, because I believe that we can sit down and write a strategic plan. We can say we're going to do something, but if we're not intentional about actually going to do it, we won't get it done. So we just need to be intentional. So for example, one of my things this year is to I want to be able to go to the gym and do a pull-up. You know,
girl, you better than do pull-ups.
I want to be able to do at least 10 reps of pulling myself up, but I need to be intentional about it. I can't just sit and be like, oh, I want to go and do. I need to go to the gym and do it.
You want to be in a more of let's do it than talk about it.
Yeah.
You want to be in a doing it now and not be talking
because
about it.
I've spent how many years saying I want to do a pull-up? Shut your mouth, girl. Go and do it. Get it done. Be quiet. Stop chatting and go and do it. So my word for 2024 is intentional. Being intentional.
Okay. Natasha, what's yours?
I would say intentional as well, but mine is more so, intentional, and it's just being showing up in every area of my life intentionally, if that makes sense. So,
every aspect, basically.
Every aspect.
Yeah. I think that's really important anyways, do you know what I mean, to be intentional. But for me, I would say consistency. The only reason, and I think that's personal to me personally, but it's personal to me simply because I feel like I've, many times we do not finish what we started just because of lack of consistency, and that comes with discipline. So once you build the consistencies, you have to also build discipline. It goes hand in hand. And, you know, I just want to be consistent in a lot of areas of my life, and even with my boundaries, because, you know, sometimes you will set boundaries and you just won't be consistent. Like, you will not follow up with those boundaries. You will kind of like compromise on those boundaries because society, you know, that's how things go, the flow, whatever. So I think for me, honestly, it's been consistency in my spiritual life, in my prayer life, consistency in my boundaries, which has been one of the big things for me this year. Consistency in whatever I start with the children. Like if I'm gonna do a habit, I'm gonna start a habit with the kids. I'm gonna try to be consistent and being consistency with Thrivers Collective, girl, because I want this project to be impactful. I want it to bless as much as it's been blessing me. And yeah, and I think with everything you have to be consistent, and that's when you kind of see the product of your work, honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
Consistency definitely is key.
And I love this because it just shows that we're thinking about and that we're true to our core values and our own personal values.
100%, yeah.
And I think as women and even individuals, we need to have our own core values. So one of the words that you said is discipline. That's a core value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistency. That's a core value. We have to live by these things in order to achieve what we need to achieve, or just to be a good human being.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we need to have those it's almost like, you know, I love the word pillars. The
Preach,
pillars
girl.
of it's like the pillars of foundation. It makes us who we are as human beings and to achieve what we need to achieve.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's even like the hierarchy that you sent us.
Yeah, I
Maslow's
love
hierarchy.
that. That
a
was
one.
good.
And I think that's like things, you know, maybe one time we'll share it in like our socials or something, but it was something that Natasha said in our group chat, and I thought it was just, it's so basic, like it's so like essential needs, but it's so important because sometimes with like the highs and lows of life, you kind of forget that these are the essentials and this is what makes man content, and you know, it makes man thrive and feel fulfilled inside himself. And yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
What is the pillars then?
So for example, we want to get into wellness. We want to get into healing.
That's right, yeah.
We want to get into finance.
Yeah.
So we're called to different
Pillars. So different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just one. So Thrivers Collective is the top banner, and in under that is the different pillars that we want to get into. We want to get into schools and speak to young girls. We want to do workshops for mothers. That's what we want to do. So I just see
And it's a big vision because, you know, even as you're speaking, like I remember, you know, something that Natasha loves to say. Natasha likes to say she has a revelation, okay? She has plenty of revelations. Get ready for her revelations. But in the revelation, she says she's always mentioned how you have to be authentic with your story. There's no your
you
story.
said this the other day.
Yeah, your story is your
you said
blueprint.
this- yeah, you
like
said
it's
this
your
the other day.
blueprint. In no way, nobody else. It can be similar to someone else's, but it can never be the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how you can navigate with your situation or your whatever it is that you're going through. It would never be the same way someone else would navigate it. So when we come into this, you know, this new season of our lives, as we are embarking into this journey with the Thrivers that are going to be following us, we are not sharing theories, but we're sharing our experiences and we're sharing our stories, right? In every aspect, you know, Natasha's wholeness, like being well and into this
Wellness.
you know, wellness. It's a story because I remember you sharing pictures with me on how when you used to be like a bit, you know, eating all of that, the goodies of the streets that we love the most. But you can see the difference between her now and then, especially in her body shape and her, you know, even like in her being creative and her just, you know, there's so much with her, like even her like having to step out from the corporate world and, you know, go out there for what she wanted. It's a whole story. It's a blueprint that no one else has been through. Simone, like I can write a story. I can write a story. You're a strong woman. You know, we don't want to reveal everything yet, but Simone is a whole book, right? It's a whole book. It's impacting generations that are, you know, that are not younger maybe, but that are, you know, starting life just the way you're starting life at where you at and not giving up on it. And what can I say about myself, child?
But you're a book.
I'm a whole book.
You're a whole
fabulous
movie.
with it.
You're a whole movie with series, honestly. But your strength
I
is
feel like I could do a
impeccable.
Risa Tessa story as well.
No, you sure can. I think we
just
can.
I
We
need
all
that
can.
Netflix.
But you know what? I admire
Wow.
you know what, Amira? I admire your truth because I never forget. So we met up for dinner, didn't we?
Yeah.
When was it? September. We met up
Yeah.
in September
I mean, y'all,
last
we
year.
was supposed
She
to
was
meet up.
busy.
Oh yeah.
But y'all met up.
So it was basically my date and
Right,
Simone.
it was right.
And I'm Maria.
And someone else.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the other person replaced me, so.
You know who you are.
Don't make me run. Let me walk. Look, but I admired your vulnerability that evening because you were so vulnerable and you gave me a glimmer of hope. I just thought to myself, wow, there is life after the D word. Well, I'm not going to reveal what the D word is, but there is life after that because at that moment I felt very much like, oh, alone and this is it for me. But you gave me that glimmer of hope and I was like, you know what? God's got me. I've got this. I'm good, man.
You good,
I'm
girl.
good.
And you've been showing up good too.
So I give God thanks. And even just how Natasha is as well. The way how she is as a mother, the way how you pour, like how you are with your son, like that for me, I look at that. And obviously I'm not close to the detail, but from what you tell me, I admire what you do outside and the different things you do. You're just, I don't know how you juggle it. Like I juggle a lot, but you're different level, like housework, your son, the different projects that you do, even with this, like, and you're on. Natasha, let me tell you, she will be messaging at like 3 a.m.
She don't sleep.
1 a.m.
She
I'm
don't
like,
sleep.
yo, don't this girl
Like, remember
sleep?
on the photo shoot, and I was like, we were like, girl, what time did you sleep?
But that's where you come at your night
I
out.
always tell you guys, creatives never sleep.
That's
It's a
true.
creative mind.
And I think you don't give yourself enough flowers because I think she kind of just goes with it and she goes with it, but
That's
you're seen, like you're actually seen. I remember meeting Natasha and I was a procrastinator.
Really?
Yeah, girl, bye. Like I'm gonna push what I'm supposed to do today for tomorrow. Lord forgive me. But you know, one thing about Natasha, she kept me going. Like she will always have an idea at the back of her head. Like lately, I got myself an iPhone 15 Pro. She's like, girl, you better use it for more than just taking pictures. You know, but it's just something that I think she doesn't give herself enough credit for. Like you're constantly on the go. You see opportunities to hustle anywhere.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Like she gonna see cheese.
Never misses an opportunity.
She gonna see cheese and she gonna say, I'm gonna sell this cheese. Where do you want me to sell it?
What I love is that you're not scared. You're not afraid to knock on the door.
Yeah.
You're not scared to do it. You're like, no problem. I've got this. I'm gonna knock.
Girl, you should go with her at a network event.
I'm like a bit like hesitant to knock on the door a bit. I'm like, is it wedged? And then I'll go in. You know, but you're knocking that kick boot.
She'll be like, hi.
Down. So yeah, really, really good.
What makes us different is the fact that, you know, it's how we all started as well. Because I don't know how the other women have actually started, but I know that we were not all friends when we first started. Because I think, and that was the initial, let's say, vision or mandate for this platform or organization, is to get women together. And that's the thing about women, as humans, we're just so scared to bond with different women because you're just like, well, I didn't grow up with her, I don't know what she's like. And then it's about intentionality, being intentional as well, that, you know, and I just love that being the foundations that we were not all friends. We all have individual friends and families. We all have loads of friends and families. And one of the things was that we couldn't find people that were, although we were surrounded by so many different people, not everyone that was around us had the same vision.
Yeah.
And so it was about, literally, this was Holy Spirit led. This is just literally the Holy Spirit just orchestrated this whole thing. And even the way me and Omera started talking and how everything happened, like me and Omera was supposed to kickstart something in 2020. Was it 2020?
2020,
or 2021?
2020, yeah, it was.
And then it just didn't. But
happen.
One thing about me and Omera, even though we didn't know each other, we still, like every time I come back to her, she's like, yeah, let's go. Remember, she's the executor. She's always ready, always ready, always ready. And even the way, you know, we got together with Simone, it was just the timing, because even everything, it was just, everything just sort of made sense. And I just love that we're still on a journey of getting to know each other. And that's the same thing, even in marriage, you know, like in any relationship, it's the process of getting to, you don't have to say, you will never fully know anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's just that journey. And I just love that. And I just love that we're the foundation. Our foundation is basically, we can't just go out there and say, hey, women, we want us, let's all unite, like get this together. But then it's like, we can actually say, we did it. Like we are that foundation.
Do you know what?
So
I think I shared a quote with you when he says, you know, the biggest scam right now is a woman empowerment led by mean women. And we're just the example of what really woman empowerment means, because these are three strangers, guys.
That literally
three strangers. I remember we met Simone on social media, right?
On Instagram.
And she was like, guys, jump on my podcast. Then we jumped and we had an amazing sharing session. Honestly, I think I enjoyed your podcast. So we really did.
It was very organized.
Like she was like, this is episode number 64. Right. I was like, okay, girl.
And she was like, bam, 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 bam.
She was like,
bam.
we were like in September. She said, this is gonna be diffused in August. I said, girl.
And we were just,
we were like,
project,
what happened? And we were like, what happened to us?
Yeah,
you know, and you know, it's like, and then just, you know, after our meeting, you know, having, you know, we were sharing food, but we was talking. And just being able to call each other sisters, feeling so close to each other, by just sharing the vision that we had for each other, you know. And I think that's the real woman empowerment. That's the real deal. That's the real flex right here.
It is, and I think it's because we're passionate about what we're doing, and you know, we're not doing this for money.
No,
I would say as well, it's what's the real foundation that all of us have, and that we've always said, because it's not about money, it is passion, but what is above the passion?
It's Christ.
That's
It's Christ is the center.
It's always been.
And we're not doing this for, we're doing this because we want to help other women. We don't want, I can only speak for myself when I say this, is what I've gone through from 5 years old up until, I'm not going to reveal my age now.
Up until now.
Up until
she young.
Is I don't want another female to go through what I've gone through.
all the time,
And if I can share my story and be a pillar of help or support or encouragement to stop that, why go through all of that turmoil?
When you can get a shortcut.
Just get the shortcut route.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head with that, because I feel like this is what we're here on earth for. It's like God doesn't allow us to go through certain things, overcome them, and just keep all those nuggets to ourselves. Because God will hold us accountable, because he's going to say, okay, well, you wasn't happy yesterday, you're happy today. What did you do between that? What sort of revelations or did you receive between that? Okay, how can you use that to help someone else? Because a lot of us, because God, the way, if you really understand the science of life and the science of just how God created the universe and how us humans are created as well, it's just that we're not here to just everything us. It's about sharing. And
you know what? We're living in a society of gatekeep. You gotta keep your struggles to yourself, girl. You gotta be vulnerable. You can't sweat in front of no one, right? But just to summarize what Natasha said, it's basically, you don't go through what you go through for yourself. You go through whatever you go through for others, right? Because if Christ went through what he went through for himself, then we would have never have received salvation today. We would have never received grace today. Like, you wouldn't be alive today because you would be full of sins, child. Like, you'll still be killing animals and sharing the blood of, you know, sheep and lambs and all that stuff. But Christ went through whatever he went through. He went through the cross for you. Therefore, whatever you are going through is not for yourself. It's never been for yourself.
So true.
Doesn't matter how hard it is, it's not for yourself. So don't be selfish with it. Don't be like, why is it happening to me? It's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
And you know what just came to me, right, is what you reap, you sow.
100.
So as human beings, we just need to be good human beings. We need to work on our characters, but no one's perfect, man. We're not perfect. We slip up, we cuss someone out, we just go apologize, keep it moving. Just being real.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's about working on our characters and sowing good. We had this conversation. We said about giving, and sowing in other people's businesses in order to we're not doing it to reap it back, but we know there's a reciprocity. We know that there's power in where you sow,
and that goes straight into being
intentional, exactly. And it's not even about sowing monetary. You can sow with serving. You can sow with cleaning the floor, washing someone's dishes, looking after a child.
She's a perfect example. She just had to go and
I
was a birth partner. Yeah, I loved it.
partner.
Yeah, I had to be a birth partner. Yeah,
and she didn't have to do that.
No, I didn't.
didn't
I
have
had
to
2 children
do
on my
that.
own, right? I could have stayed in my house. I spent 24 hours in the hospital.
Yeah.
But listen, it was for the joy of helping somebody else that needed the help at the time they needed it. And if I'm available and I'm strong enough to do it, why not?
Exactly. And I think that's what it's about. And I think this just sums up Thrivers Collective, because we want to sow into others. We want to help others. We want to have events that are going to empower others. We want to go into, there's so much. I'm not trying to reveal so much, but
all I'm saying is
there's
I want to
so
hug
much.
you. I want to hug y'all all. Like, come in here with me.
Yeah, so as Simone always speaks about, so what makes us different is basically the pillars, right? And I guess the foundation.
To top off before we end, it's not for us, because we're not singing our praises. We're not saying that we've made it, or we're better than others, or if you follow us, then you would. No, we are a Thrivers Collective, so we're creating a space where you will join us as we are in our journey of thriving, because we are still in our journey of thriving. God, we haven't made it yet. We're still fighting in every areas of our life, but one thing is for sure is we've made up our mind to not give up on ourselves.
100%.
Not give up on womanhood, not give up on the vision that God has for women. Because best believe me, there is a vision that God has for women. And we chose to stand by that, believe in it, believe in ourselves and the potential that's in us. And we want you to also believe in your potential and to stand on the promises of God for your life.
That's right.